The first atomic bomb was dropped from a B-29 called the Enola Gay on the morning of August 6, 1945 onto the city of Hiroshima. The blast obliterated most of the central city, killing 80,000 in a single moment. By the end of the year, 60,000 more victims would die from radiation poisoning and thousands more would die in the years to come, from cancer and other long-term effects of the radiation. It was estimated that the total death toll from the Hiroshima was well over 200,000. The immediate reaction to the bomb in Japan was one of total incomprehension. All communications with Hiroshima were lost, and rumors quickly spread that the city had vanished in some kind of cataclysmic explosion. Yet Japanese military radar had indicated that only a few isolated planes had been in the area. The Japanese would learn the truth 16 hours following the explosion, when the U.S. government released a public statement explaining what had taken place. 3 days later, on August 9th, a second atomic bomb was dropped on the port city of Nagasaki with similar results.
The day before the Nagasaki bombing, the Soviet Union entered the war against Japan and commenced an attack on the Chinese province of Manchuria, which was still held by the Japanese. The combination of the atomic bombings with the potential threat of a full-scale invasion of Japan by the USSR was enough to remove any hope that Japan may have held for continuing the war. On August 15, 1945, Emperor Hirohito announced Japan's capitulation in accordance with the Potsdam Declaration. A formal surrender was signed on September 2nd aboard the battleship USS Missouri. The campaign against Japan at the end of the war and the use of the atomic bomb have been long the subject of debate and controversy around the world, especially outside the United States. Critics contend that Japan was already on the verge of surrender by late summer 1945, and that the atomic bombings were superfluous, needlessly killing hundreds of thousands of people. The same was said about the mass incendiary and bombing attacks on Tokyo and other cities, which killed even more people than the atomic bombs, although without as many long-term effects.
On the other hand, proponents of the bombing say that battles such as Iwo Jima and Okinawa demonstrated that the Japanese population was prepared to fight to the last man, and that only a weapon as overpowering as the atomic bomb could have ended the war without unfathomable casualties. Indeed, the only alternative to the bombings would have been a ground invasion using U.S. troops, which would have been extremely costly in both American and Japanese lives. The argument has thus been made that such a ground invasion would have cost far more Japanese lives than the Nagasaki and Hiroshima bombings combined.
Moreover, evidence suggests that the external political factors played a significant part in the decisions to drop the atomic bombs. The Manhattan Project had been very expensive, and the Truman administration felt pressure to demonstrate that the weapon actually could be used effectively for military purposes. Furthermore, tensions were growing with the Soviet Union over the division of Eastern Europe, and the United States may have wished to demonstrate its newfound power. Finally, the atomic bomb was a new, untested technology. The worldwide cultural taboos surrounding such weapons did not exist at the time, and in general, there was less understanding of the long-term effects of their use. Only one atomic bomb has ever been tested successfully. Frighteningly, as powerful as the Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombs were, their destructive power was small in comparison with the nuclear weapons of today. This was Hiroshima before the attack. This was Hiroshima after the attack. The bomb dropped on Hiroshima was known as Little Boy, and it was a reference to former President Roosevelt. The bomb dropped over Nagasaki was codenamed Fat Man. It was possibly named after Winston Churchill, although some people believe that it is a rumor.